I thought for a second, what if, which is sort of what led me to try it in the first place, what if it's the veganism that is the limitation on my health?
I'm a professional parkour athlete, a two-time world freerunning champion, and more recently I got into Ninja Warrior, where I'm captain of Team Europe as we won USA versus the world.
Lack of recovery, lack of energy, yawning all the time, waking up stiff, really stiff in my joints.
Tim Shieff destroyed Heat 1's course this year in just 55 seconds, making him the fastest heat runner of the whole series.
Muscles becoming really fragile in my body, being really, fragile is the only way to put it. Scared to do anything explosive.
Coming up, can't watch!
And when I went vegan, I lost 15-20 pounds. I was more agile, I was more efficient, more stamina in my body. Just that extra bit of pop that I didn't have before, it just gave me that extra strength.
I couldn't do push-ups without getting injured.
But it shouldn't have been, because this fella's something else.
That was
Fatigue, brain fog, depression.
So this is a very vibrant way to live. It can enhance you as an athlete. For me, 100% better athlete than I was before.
But overall, there was still a general slow decline over time.
He's just making it seem casual, Ben.
nothing casual about this, Cammy.
Hello everyone, welcome to another video. So the reason I'm making this video is not to have an ego battle with me and Tim. It's because Tim has a fair bit of influence in the movement, and I think he's quite confused, and I don't want him to be influencing people to go out there and start harming animals with their lifestyle choices, because that's what Tim is, by virtue of his message, promoting. And for me, I'm here to defend animals, and I'm sure Tim understands that. It's not about me and Tim, this is about the dangerous message he's promoting, and from someone who seems a little bit unsure, a little bit confused, may have lost his way, but Tim is going to have a lot of people harshly judging him as it is. So I want to make this video as least personal as possible and just make it about the facts and about, my defense of animals in this situation. So you probably know a bit about Tim anyway. I'm not here to be a health specialist. If you want health advice, guess who you go to? The plant-based doctors who have 30 years experience reversing disease and treating patients with a plant-based diet, who read scientific literature all day. You don't follow someone's anecdote and someone's feelings and someone's, I feel like this, so it might be a deficiency in this. No, you follow scientific evidence, and you follow those plant-based doctors with years and years and years of experience, okay, and evidence.
That culminated in me doing a fast. A 35-day water fast, which was intended to be 7 days, but the more I researched, the more I felt confident I could go further, and the more I would benefit from going further, and the more I realised going further would clear out the deeper systems, the deeper problems that have been put in me from my pre-vegan days.
That's what I want to say about people promoting their anecdotes and, oh no, veganism didn't work for me because of this, I have this, it's just really frustrating, it's really frustrating. So I'm just going to talk about why I feel like Tim's really irresponsible, on his platform. The things he's promoting.
I tried animal products, some salmon and eggs, local eggs and wild-caught salmon, and felt some improvement in my health. But of course, as a 6-year vegan and advocate for that lifestyle and movement, there was a massive confusion in my head.
So he said that he had these local eggs and wild caught salmon, and all of a sudden, felt better. That is probably the biggest anecdote I've ever heard. Something like a placebo effect, oh my God, I've got all these problems and I had some fish and salmon and felt better. I just don't see any scientific evidence for that. Really, really disappointed, because the knock-on effect of him saying, oh, I ate these eggs and salmon and now I feel better, is basically he's promoting the egg industry and the fishing industry, which both are destroying the planet. Both are inherently cruel and abusive. Okay, these fish are getting dragged out the ocean by their face. Wild-caught salmon, free-range eggs, still cruel, abusive, and murder. And Tim knows about all this. Tim knows about how it's wrong to use animals when it's not necessary, it's unjustified. And he used to be such an altruistic person, which is what I'm going to get into. Such a really kind-hearted, compassionate human being towards animals, and he used to look at it from the eyes of others instead of himself, and that has changed. Let's just go through what he said here.
Shocked myself, and so I went back to the vegan diet for a time. Tried again to do things within that, supplements and juices and certain things to make that work again, and nothing truly worked the way I wanted it to and believed it should.
So then he went back to eating animal products, then he went back to a vegan diet, and then nothing truly worked the way he wanted it to. So I think Tim has this utopian idea of feeling superhuman. I mean, look at him already. He's one of the best athletes on earth. What more do you want? How much more fit, agile, and healthy do you want to be? How many Ninja Warriors has the guy won? He's one of the best athletes on earth. How many more superpowers do you want, dude? This is what I mean. He has this far out there idea of like what this vegan diet can achieve for him. I don't know what his expectations are.
When I actually consumed the animal products, my body appeared to feel something better. Not that it's evidence for anything specific, depends on the person.
Yeah, that's right. That's not evidence. It's not evidence. Your body appeared to feel somewhat better after you ate animal products. I could say, well, my body appeared to feel somewhat better after I smoked a cigarette, and therefore cigarettes are healthy. My body appeared to feel somewhat better when I ate a Mars bar. Therefore, Mars bars are healthy. No, this isn't evidence. It's a complete anecdote. It's complete placebo. Can anyone else see this? And the reason I'm stepping in is because he is promoting animal product consumption, which is destroying the earth and harming animals. It's quite simple. Nothing personal between Tim and I. But when the animals get involved, then I step in. It's simple as that.
The first night after I had that salmon, I had a wet dream. I hadn't ejaculated in months.
Now this here is probably one of the most disturbing things he said in his whole video. Too much information, Tim. And what I want to make a very clear point about this is, he's connecting one of the most exhilarating, exciting human experiences and orgasm with animal abuse. That's what he's done here. I don't know if he realizes that he's done that, but when you eat salmon, when you consume salmon and fish products, you're funding the fishing industry, which is destroying the earth and harming animals, dragging a fish out the ocean, suffocating them, sticking a knife into their throat, slashing their stomach open, pulling their insides out, and then you come along, you've paid for that, the blood is on your hands, and he's saying he's consumed that violence and cruelty and then ejaculated. So what type of message is that sending? You've connected pleasure with abuse. I honestly believe Tim has lost his connection to the animals. What was the motivation for saying that? Like, it's way too much information. And this is what I mean. He has this big platform. It's just irresponsible.
You know, just to be honest and open with everyone, that's turned something on within my body, which was interesting.
See what I mean? He's like basically saying, hey, like to all of you impressionable young kids out there, if you eat fish, which is mercury laden, cholesterol laden, there's PCBs, all of these chemicals in fish, and you basically connected that to the most pleasurable human experience and orgasm. Irresponsible.
But I don't see myself as caring less. I don't see myself as unethical.
I can almost say with all of my heart, you are not as altruistic as you once were. Okay, you're thinking completely of yourself in this situation, and I'll go on to prove it further. But in terms of ethics, you are not acting ethically. This is not an ethical thing to do. Fish are harmed for an unjustified reason. Plant-based nutrition is superior. You can be healthy on a plant-based diet. You've proven that. You have some issues. Don't blame everything on your plant-based diet. Listen to some doctors, the real doctors.
And maybe take this as a lesson to not talk about things so certainly again in the future. I apologise to anyone that I've ever pushed my beliefs or judgments onto.
You apologise for speaking up for the animals. Never apologise for that, okay? That was one of the most noble things you've done in your life. Speaking up against animal slavery, speaking up against animal abuse. Never apologise for that. Never apologise for that.
It's a big lesson from the universe for me in karma coming back.
a big lesson in karma coming back. Now, I really don't wish karma on anyone, but when you drag a fish out the ocean, slash their stomach open, all right, and promote the consumption of a product that is destroying the earth, what type of karma are you bringing on yourself? Okay, you have a big platform. You're doing anti-vegan activism. Now, I know Tim's responsible for turning a lot of people vegan, and he's inspired a lot of people, which is why I'm making this video, because I don't want the people that he's inspired to think that somehow because Tim has lost his way, that invalidates the vegan position. It doesn't.
I'm so grateful for the vegan journey. One of the biggest things I got through my life as a vegan was discovery of self-love, or deeper self-love.
That is not what veganism is about. It's not about self-love. That is selfish. Fish. Selfish. What you're doing is selfish. You know, killing fish, you know, promoting eggs, and that's not why we get into veganism. We get into veganism because we understand that sentient life is important enough not to enslave and murder. Okay? It's not justified. Now, the mountains of scientific evidence supporting the fact that plant-based nutrition is superior, and eating eggs and fish, okay, and other animal products is the number one cause of some of the biggest diseases humans face, and environmental destruction, and 100% the number one cause of murder, and that's what you're promoting. There is nothing to do with love in that.
And ironically, that self-love has led me for this time out of veganism.
All you just said there is that your own selfish desires has led you out of being altruistic, which you once were. Now, do I think Tim is a bad person? Not at all. Not at all. Not saying that. I just think he's lost his focus. He's focusing more on himself than he is on the victims.
Unlocked a whole new chapter of my training. The science is there, the health is there, the athletes are there proving that you don't need to eat dead animals to be strong, to be healthy.
Say it louder, Tim. Say it louder. I remember Tim was such a strong advocate for animals, and what we're going to do now is give Tim a little reminder of where his perspective actually was. Where was Tim's perspective before? Here he is talking about one of the nice physical benefits I experienced from a plant-based diet is that the body maintains its strength without having to train as frequently. Well, that goes against what you've been saying, Tim. The nature of altruism. This is how he used to think, altruistically, through the eyes of others. And here he is talking about slavery. Slavery was legal. Witch trials were legal. Apartheid was legal. Killing animals is legal. Legality is a construct of the powerful, not of justice. Justice means fairness. Is it fair that you are dragging those fish out the ocean, stabbing them in the stomach for your diet, okay? For your anecdotes, for your placebo effect. The question is not can they reason, nor can they talk, but can they suffer? Very good point, Tim. Wow, that's a big number. In memory of the 259,200,200 animals slaughtered today. Wow, and each and every one of you, this is Tim here talking, each and every one of you was unique, had parents and free will, which was stripped from you for an unnecessary snack. For an unnecessary snack, mate. This is when Tim woke up. He was really altruistic and really thinking of the animals and really inspiring, and he turned so many people vegan, and he's we can never take that away from Tim. He did so much good. Here's another one. So you're telling me people post about animal abuse issues but still continue to eat meat? If you eat animals for pleasure, eat animals for pleasure? You just told thousands of people on your most popular video, it will be his most popular video, not in terms of dislikes but in terms of view ratio, that, you know, eating salmon makes you ejaculate, basically. So basically he goes, if you eat animals for pleasure and not just survival, why don't I see people defending the dentist who killed the lion also for pleasure? I'm disappointed with the hypocrisy. He's just basically saying he's realised the hypocrisy and at least he admits it. Speciesist mofos. He's talking about speciesism, which is interesting, Tim. Speciesism. I don't know why you choose fish. Why do you choose fish out of the animals to eat? That's speciesism. That's speciesism. Why not stab a cow in the neck and eat them? You know, I hope you don't go into that. I wouldn't even try to promote that. I don't know where your mind's at and what you're capable of doing. We're talking about species extinction. We're not just talking about individual animals here. We're talking about environmental destruction, species extinction. Here he is. He's posted a video. He actually made a video called The Awakened Man with Gary Orofsky. I 100% hope you watch it. Timothy did a good one with that one, and he's posted one of my mentors, Gary Orofsky. The next compilation is on who I deem to be the most important revolutionary for our century, Gary Orofsky. Gary, Remember Gary? What would Gary say?
People don't realize how much they're harming animals in their daily lives.
He is saying things most people are afraid to say and not what most people like to hear. He's not a politician trying to win votes, just speaking honestly, logically, intelligently, and rationally. Speciesism is the root of all forms of discrimination on the planet, and once we address that, we'll be more closer to a world of peace. Tim. He's been my biggest inspiration in recent years, and I hope you will watch the video and share it. Oh my God, Tim. You were speaking so much sense before, brother. I love sport, but is it worth it? Telling people how it is for the rational minds out there. Basically saying that eating animal corpses for your performance isn't justified. Talking about veganism being a non-action. Speaking out against animal testing. Here we go. Here's someone who's inspired to be vegan. You inspired me to become a vegan. I first noticed you when you jumped over my head on the day of protest in central London. I feel you educated me on the animal industry, something I was completely ignorant about before. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. See, Tim has done a lot of good. We can't take that away from Tim. Which ones are okay to eat? Is there a fish eye there? I can't see the salmon's eye. I'm vegan because I can't look into the eyes of any animal and feel that it's okay to take their freedom or have them spend part of their life serving my unnecessary wants and desires. My happiness is dependent on me and not certain animals being killed or enslaved for food or clothing. This is something I think about every day as it's an injustice and oppression on a multi-billion lives a year scale. Very well said, my friend. If you think eating meat is just a personal choice, you're forgetting someone. Mate, thank you, Tim, for speaking up for the animals. The time will come when men such as I will look upon the murder of animals as they now look upon the murder of men. And you know what? That time will still come. Because there's many of us. There's millions of us. Don't be a graveyard for dead animals who have an innate nature to feel love and feel connected to. I don't know a single human who can watch a cow, chicken, pig get their throat slit. He actually called them it, which is not cool. And feel empathy towards. That's our nature. Compassion, caring, and kindness. Really good, Tim. Finishing off, here's Tim at a sanctuary, one of the most peaceful and yet most abused animals on earth. We use cows to eat their flesh, we steal their baby's milk, and we wear their skin. Gives me faith when I meet people like Wenda who see things clearly and gives every waking minute to make the difference she can, even if it's just for 50 of the poor creatures. These are the most loved cows in England. Beautiful, Tim. Beautiful speaking up for cows there. And here he is there, compassionate, hearted man, you know, looking into the eyes of that sentient being, understanding that they're a living, breathing, feeling creature, and they have just as much right to live on Earth as he does. They feel pain, emotions, they want to experience well-being. Tim was so awakened to this, and now he's lost his way and gone back to causing animals abuse, which is really a shame, and I don't think he's an evil person in his heart. I just think he's contradicting his own values. I don't think your values can shift back and forth from being against animal abuse to being for it. I really hope he finds his way again. I want to leave you with something really powerful that Tim once said, and I want to send Tim a reminder of his values and what brought him to the vegan lifestyle to begin with. Veganism is not a diet, as he repeats and repeats. It's not a position on health. This is a moral principle. This is about your core values, and you don't turn your back on your core values. Sending love out to Tim. I just want him to realize of the responsibility he has with his platform and to remember the earth and the animals.
And then I thought, oh, I'd love to eat meat again. I'd love to eat a cheeseburger, some chicken from Nando's, ribs with some barbecue sauce. Damn, that was one of my favourite meals with some steak fries. It was good. Then you realise there's another being involved in that process that wouldn't like that. Slavery was wrong. What do you think we do to animals when we enslave them for milk? We kill male chicks, male baby chicks, for eggs. Veal is a baby cow. Lamb is a baby sheep. What are we doing? It's a madness. When you see it, when you have a bit of empathy, a bit of an open mind, a bit of intelligence, a bit of logic in there, common sense. It's not fair. It really is not fair anymore. It's time for us to wake up. It's a matter of time. It's not a matter of hope. I get upset because I'm in the moment, I'm present. But in the long run, I know it's over. It's over for the meat industry, for the animal slavery industry. Times are changing. We dealt with slavery to some degree. We're nearly there on that one. But
I'm telling you what, you don't need to eat meat. You don't need to eat the flesh of animals. It's not right on them, it's not fair on them. There's a being involved when you eat meat that didn't deserve it.